welcome back to my channel. My name is Michaela and this is Michaela's Crafts. If you're new here, I make craft content every weekend here on YouTube, mostly knitting and crochet. Today I'm so excited because I am debuting my knitting bingo. Knitting bingo is absolutely not an original idea of mine. I in fact saw this first on Sedgy Field's YouTube channel here on YouTube, and I just recently saw that Sarah from Sarah's Handmakes also set her knitting intentions in the form of a bingo card. I absolutely fell in love with the idea and wanted to make a card for myself, and so today I'm going to walk you through the bingo card that I made setting my own knitting intentions. I'm going to link my bingo card below in the case that you don't want to come up with your own spaces for a bingo card, as well as link a blank one in the case that you do. I thought that we could make this a fun community project and have a group chat as well as a hashtag just to follow what everyone is making and what they are crossing off on their bingo cards. I really want to make a group chat on Instagram, so if you'd like to be a part of the group chat, just follow me over there on Instagram and send me a message saying that you want to be a part of the bingo group chat and I will add you to it. It's just going to be a super laid back group chat where we just share what it is that we're making, and it's just gonna be a super laid back group chat where we share our bingo cards, and then as we make things throughout the year, just share those and then cross things off our bingo cards, and it's just gonna be super chill. I also wanted to create a hashtag, so in the case that you make something and you want to share it and make it a part of your bingo, then we could all look at the hashtag and see what we made this year for our bingo cards, and I'm just gonna put it on the screen. I really hope that you guys will join me in making this a community bingo event. I have set 2 rules for myself, but if you want to join in this community event, by no means do you have to follow these rules yourself. But the first rule that I set for myself is that I cannot include any whips from 2024. You'll see when I put my bingo card on the screen that I have a couple of squares and I have a couple of things that are already whips that could be counted for those squares, but I don't want to do that. I want everything to be a project that I started and finished in 2025. I'm just a little bit strict with myself, so that's basically why I am the way that I am. But again, by no means do you have to follow this rule. If you have a sweater that only has a sleeve left and you want to include it in, I don't know, a square that says finish a sweater, then by all means, go ahead and do so. My second rule for myself is that I cannot use one project for multiple squares. So for example, if I have a square that is make a petite knit pattern and make a cabled sweater or make a cable knit, I cannot use the square make a petite knit pattern and a cable knit. I can't use both. I can only choose one of those squares. Again, if you want to count it as both and that's the way you want to live your life, by all means go ahead and do that. This is just all for fun, all for gigs, and just for the heck of it. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and shift over slightly so I can put my bingo card right here. So the first square that I have is a scrap yarn project. I actually have no ideas for scrap yarn projects. I just know that I really want to get rid of a bunch of yarn in my stash. The next project I have is make a non-wearable item, so something like a bag or a crochet tapestry, which crochet is absolutely allowed. If you want to make an entire bingo card all about crochet, by all means, I absolutely invite you to do so. A non-wearable could include the crochet plants, or it could be a knit blanket, for example, but basically something that I'm not going to put on my body. The next one I have is a cable knit. Of course, you guys already know that I have a couple cable knit sweaters that I'm really interested in making. If you didn't know that, then go ahead and watch my Make 9 video. I have 2 cable knit sweaters, spoiler, that I'm intending to make in 2025. And also I'd love to make other cabled things as well, maybe a hat or some more mittens, because I did make some cabled mittens late last year. Anything cable knit, that's for that square. The next one is to learn a new technique. So one of the techniques I'm interested in learning is a saddle shoulder. I don't know what other kinds of techniques, but as long as something that I make has a new technique and I literally had to learn something in order to make it, that is what this square is all about. The next one I have is knit a cardigan. If you, again, watch my Make 9, then you'll know that I have a couple of cardigans on that list. Have yet to make a cardigan, but a lot of my fashion inspiration and things I want to build on for 2025 in my wardrobe do include cardigans, so I love to knit a cardigan. One cardigan that I already have the pattern for is the Pole cardigan by Marika Knit, and another cardigan that's on my Make 9 is the Daydreamer cardigan by Kutavakika. The next one I have is color work. Could be anything color work, mittens, color work, sweater, anything color work is on my list. The next one I have is a pop culture inspired knit. So it could be anything that is inspiring me from a TV show, from a movie, from a book, literally anything. There are a couple of sweaters that I was looking at when I was watching Friends that really inspired me to try to make those patterns. So that's something that I'm kind of thinking about, but it could include anything that catches my eye from any books that I read, from any shows that I watch. It could be a tapestry crochet. Literally, the possibilities are endless. The next one I have is a project knit from stash or made from stash. And again, I have a lot of stash yarn. I just want to take yarn that I already have and make it instead of just buying new yarn. So that's a super simple square that I think we could easily accomplish. The next one is kind of a big one. So it's knit 12 pairs of socks. And this is where my second rule comes into play a little bit, because while I'm not allowed to count one project for 2 squares, this is one of my 2 squares where I guess technically 3 squares, where I will make an exception. Because if I knit a pair of socks and I end up giving them away, then it's going to count for one of my squares that is 3 gift knits. But that's one of the very few caveats I have to this bingo card. But originally I wasn't planning to do 12 pairs of socks, one pair of sock per month or anything like that. But I did start a pair of socks for my boyfriend this month of January, and then I started a pair of socks already for somebody who watches my channel who has a birthday coming up. So I was thinking, if I'm already in that kind of mode, why would I not just try to make a pair of socks every month? I don't know. That's why I have knit 12 pairs of socks. The next one I have is a textured knit. I can't remember if I put a textured knit on my Make 9. I already forgot. I feel like I need to make printouts of all of the things I want to do in 2025 knitting related, because I'm gonna forget. But I do have an Esther sweater on my mind. I have the Ingrid sweater on my mind. There's another one, I can't think of the name right now, but I absolutely will include a picture of one thing that I was interested in making. It has color work and texture. Love, love, love. In my next square, I have knit a pattern from a book. So I actually have a book that I really want to knit out of, and it is my Fisherman's Sweaters book. I will insert a little video of me showing the book. And from this book, there are a couple of different patterns that I'd really like to try to knit, and that will probably be what I knit out of. I also want to get the 52 Weeks of Socks book, so maybe I would knit a sock pattern out of there. Either way, it just has to come from a physical book. And I kind of breezed over this earlier, but I have make 3 gift knits. So 3 things that I knit for someone else. I think I started it but didn't finish it. I think I started it in 2024 though. I can't remember the exact day that I started a Sophie shawl for my grandma, but I did finish it, but I don't think I'm going to count it. But like I said, if I do make those socks for someone whose birthday is coming up, I am allowed to include that in my gift knits. Now, I am planning on gifting a lot of socks this year, but I think I can only include 1 pair of socks. That will be for the 12 pairs of socks and for the gift knit, if that makes sense. I don't know, I'm just making up the rules as I go. The next one I have is to knit a dress. I think the only dress that's really on my radar, there's 2. I saw one on TikTok today and I did save it, but I don't remember the name, so I'll just insert a picture. And then the other one is the Atlantis dress, I think it's called, by Ullin Knitwear, and that one is on my radar of a dress that I would want to knit. The next one I have is make a project with knit and crochet. So what I'm thinking is a granny square cardigan, but with knit sleeves. I saw an inspiration picture on Pinterest. Again, if I find it, I will put it on the screen. And this cardigan had me in a chokehold. I absolutely thought I was going to be making this as soon as possible. Never really got around to it, but I absolutely want to make that sometime this year. Probably while crochet is kind of taking a hold on me. I'm kind of feeling like winter and fall are the knitting seasons, and then spring and summer are the crochet seasons. We shall see. We shall see, but I think that's pretty much the mode that we're gonna be in. The next one is inspired by my friend Kayla over at Chromatic Creations. It's Make Something Green. I really don't think I have any green yarn in my stash because I'm not a green girly. I'm a neutrals girly or a very dark winter girly. Things that I make are going to enhance my beauty and go with my color scheme, and dark colors do that. Greens, not so much. However, if you guys know from my Make 9 video, count how many times I reference my Make 9 video. I have a sweater on there. It's spelled B-A-C-I. I still to this day don't know how to pronounce it, even though it's been featured in like 3 of my videos at this point. But I want to knit it in this sample that is a forest, I think it's forest green or hunter green color by Gepard Garn Puno. And it's a part of my Make 9, but I think it could also count here because that's another caveat. We'll get to that. The next one I have is to do a buddy knit. So I'm actually currently in the middle of doing a buddy knit, but again, I said I'm not gonna count my whips from 2024, but I know that Kayla and I are planning to knit the Brady Loop sweater together as soon as we finish this knit, which right now we are knitting the sweater number 14. She's knitting the V-neck, I'm knitting the scoop neck by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I love the way it's turning out. Love, 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 can't wait to finish it. The next one I have is participate or host a cal. So I'm actually participating in 2 cals right now. One started January 10th. It's the Chantal cal, hosted by Alona from, I can't remember her Instagram handle, but I'll put it on the screen. And she's doing anything that's in the Chantal collection by Marika Knit. And I have been working on the Chantal V-neck by Marika Knit, and I've been knitting it. And I think that this one, since it started on January 10th, is definitely one that I can count. I knew about it in 2024, which makes me feel like it was cheating a little bit when I put it on my bingo card. But as long as I finish my project for it, I think it absolutely counts. I'm also participating in the cal hosted by Ash from Smash Knits and Sarah from Sarah's Handmakes, and it's the Opposites Attract cal. That's actually where me and Kayla got the inspiration to do this buddy knit, because we're knitting it in purple, which is not a color that I normally knit in. I don't think I have any other purple yarn in my stash, and not a color that she normally knits in, and the whole point is to knit in a color that you wouldn't normally knit in. So that one started back in 2024, so I'm not really counting that as a cal, but I would also love to host a cal. We shall see. We'll see. Next one I have is a test knit, and I would love to test knit again. I test knit the Mountains and Sea sweater for Sarah from Sarah's Handmakes, and it came out so lovely. Believe it or not, it was my first, and to this point, only finished sweater, and I gifted it to my friend Mel, and she looks so stinking adorable in it. But I really, as much as the deadline kind of freaked me out, I really enjoyed test knitting. It was a nice way to, especially for a beginner, it was really nice for me because as a beginner, a lot of people were making the same thing I was making, and I could reference anything that they had to say about the pattern or what they were making. And I don't know, it was just a nice way for me to check on my own skills, and I just had a blast doing it. So I would love to apply for more test knits this year and hopefully land one and complete one. So finally we come to the square that's complete my Make 9. So if I make a sweater that is a cable knit, I'm allowed to cross off my cable knit as well as complete my Make 9. Like my complete my Make 9 is it's its own square, it's its own space, and has nothing to do with any of my other ones. And kind of the same thing with my sock square, my like make 12 sock square. So there's obviously some like caveats with my rules, but I feel like it's still pretty easy to follow. So the next ones that I have are kind of similar in the sense that like they follow a theme, which is I want to knit a petite knit pattern. So I've actually knit 2 petite knit patterns. They were both accessories. I did a Sophie shawl and I did an Oslo hat. But it could be anything. They can be accessories again. I just want to knit more petite knit patterns. So that's why this one is a square. The next one I have is make a full-size blanket. I also just realized this could count as a cowl for my other square because I am doing the M cowl by Barocco. So I did finish the first square. I really need to get on the second square for January. We're not gonna talk about that. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna stress. But I put full size because I am planning to make a baby blanket as a gift knit this year. Actually, probably next month I'm going to make it. But I wanted it to be literally a full-size blanket. And I have some whips. I have like 3 or 4 blanket whips. Blows my mind. Most of them are crochet though, which I kind of fell off the crochet bandwagon. But like I said, spring, summer, probably gonna pick it up, probably gonna get on those blankets. So then I have finished the year with less yarn in my stash than this year, which prompted me to come up with the idea to possibly catalog all of my stash yarn, maybe in next week's video. We will see. But the whole point is to knit from my stash, knit with the money that I've already spent, and try to get really creative. I have a lot of sugar and cream cotton yarn, which like I don't love, but I think come spring, come summer, I started making a summer commitment bag with that yarn and it knits up a lot better than it crochets up. And I bought it when I was in my crochet phase. And so I'm kind of already planning to do a summer commitment bag, possibly a few of them, maybe post them on Etsy just to like get them off my life, get the yarn out of my life, gift them friends and family so they all have like a cute market bag, something like that. But I definitely want to use the yarn that I have before bringing a bunch more yarn into my stash. And one of the things that goes along with that is I bought a lot of the yarn that I have that's in my stash when I was in my acrylic yarn crochet phase, which is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with buying acrylic yarn, but I myself am not going to purchase any more acrylic yarn. Then I have knit an Ozetta pattern. I am absolutely obsessed with a lot of their patterns, but she has so many other patterns that are just timeless and exactly what I want to be knitting. Whew, we've come the last square, which is to knit a Japanese or Korean pattern. So I'm definitely interested in trying lots of different patterns this year from different designers from all different places around the world. But one that I specified this year was that I wanted to knit something by a Japanese or Korean designer, because I knit a lot of Scandinavian designers. I think those are some of the most popular knitwear designers. But this year I'd also love to branch out and see what designers from other places around the world are creating, if there are any designers from really from places around the world that would be unexpected or inspired by places that are unexpected. But that is basically gonna round up my bingo, and I'm really excited to print it out, put it up somewhere in my craft room, and to get started. So let me know in the comments if you are planning to participate. Again, if you want to join, just go ahead and follow me on Instagram, send me a message, and I'm just gonna create a group chat where we can all just hang out and talk about our bingo cards. So subscribe if you haven't already, if you enjoy this type of content and you want to see more, and I look forward to seeing you next week.